Soli, good evening. Thank you so much for your time on ENCA. Joe Biden, in his inaugural speech, says, and I quote, "We have much to repair, much to restore, much to heal, to build, and to gain." And he's right. There's a lot of restoration that needs to happen. Speak to us about the damage that the last 4 years has had on brand America. America is the free world, as this old democracy that's always been a shining light for many countries.
Look, thanks, Clement, and good evening to you and to all the people watching you out there. Anyone who runs a country like the United States of America must always remember that whether we like it or not, whether they like it or not, America plays a really important role. It is a very influential role in global affairs.
Yeah.
So when Trump came into power and decided to disengage, you know, much of his policy was based on empowering America. He didn't care about America's engagements in multilateral organizations. I mean, more recently, he pulled out of the World Health Organization. He pulled out of the Paris Treaty, and he pulled out of the even North American treaty with all the regional countries. He reversed Obama's relationship that was being built again with Cuba. So he really, his entire policy was very internal, inward-looking. But it was wrong of him. America has a very important role to play. And I heard some of your guests saying that, you know, now it's on the back foot, it has to start all over again. I don't think so. But the truth is, yes, China has taken over, in some, especially in Africa. Russia has made a lot of advances. But it's important that America realizes that it's not just about it. Whoever runs America also plays a very important role in global affairs. And I think this is the message that Joe Biden has been trying to has sent out earlier, to say, look, we are back. He's been saying America is back in global affairs. America is going to play the role it must play. And of course, people will disagree or agree with whether it's right or wrong, but the fact is America is an influential player in global affairs. It still gives a lot of money to a lot of countries, including South Africa. Yeah. We cannot run away from that.
So how does the country then restore its position in the world? I'm sure you'll agree that the insurrection we saw 2 weeks ago, the events of the last 4 years, the decisions that you mentioned that Trump had taken, these things are not going to be forgotten. They will stand as an aberration. So how does America overcome this? Where does Biden-Harris begin?
Well, they will be forgotten if, you know, America, I like to look at countries as brands. There's a new CEO in place, and the messages that the new CEO is sending out is that he doesn't want war. He doesn't want, even if we differ, we have to work together. And he has to follow through with action. In the same way that Trump was able to change the image of America globally from what Barack Obama had built before him, I'm sure that Biden will reverse all of that. But again, he's going to need to go beyond words, beautiful words. But this man, if you look at his history from many years ago, I mean, when he even spoke out against apartheid, he seems to be quite, his heart is on the right place. He's an older guy. He's been around. He's been trying to be president for some 40 years. You know, so he's older and wiser. And people tend to think, well, this is Barack Obama back in the image of Biden. I don't think so. I think Biden is going to be his own man. Of course, we know that he's quite close to Barack Obama, but I don't think that he's going to continue the administration of Barack Obama. He's going to be a Biden man, but he is going to be a lot more open. He's older and wiser, and he seems to have a higher level of emotional intelligence and empathy, and he seems to be a lot more worldly than Trump. And I think that those qualities alone will ensure that he listens a lot more. He realizes that everything is not just about him. The world is not about winners must take all. Of course, that was Trump's attitude. This man will realize that America is going to have to give in order to get in a lot of areas.
And in rebuilding and restoring the USA brand, does he begin domestically, because he's got a lot of domestic issues at home? I mean, the reality is, you know, Donald Trump didn't elect himself, right? Even in the last elections, he may have lost, but 70 million odd Americans still voted for him. So I'm wondering if this renewal project can happen even with those people still holding the kind of views that they continue to hold. So Joe Biden, I imagine, has to be the president that brings all those 70 million odd people to the fold, does he begin domestically in rebuilding that brand, or does he start dealing with foreign affairs and try and re-engaging with some of the countries that were alienated from Trump's America First approach?
Look, if you look at the kind of people, and especially the diversity of people that he's pulled into his administration so far, and he's going to continue doing that. He can't, as president, do everything on his own. He has to have the right people there, but he's creating a lot more diversity than Trump did in his team. He's going to bring in, from what I'm seeing, a lot of people who are capable of taking care of all these things on global affairs, internal affairs. Of course, he has to reach out a lot to some of those people who stood behind Trump, who still stand behind Trump. But he said it himself. He doesn't expect that every single one of them is going to turn around and be in Biden's camp, and that's fine as long as people don't think that because we differ we must kill each other, we must go to war with one another. But he is going to put together a team, and he's already started doing that. That's going to look at European affairs, African affairs, but internal affairs as well. It doesn't mean that he must first sort out all those internal issues that are facing him before he goes out. He has to put a multilateral team that is diverse, that's going to help him. He must lead from the front. The messages that he sent out to this team will be ones that say, listen, we are not alone here. We must work with other countries, but we must also be united as a country, despite the differences that we have.
All right. Solly Mueng, Brand Reputation Management Advisor at Don Valley, thank you so much for your time.